Very good morning, everyone. I welcome you all to this Junior College Studies Conclave, going live with a very special guest. The flow of this particular conclave would be in the beginning. We'll have a one-on-one interaction with a very senior bureaucrat who's heading the intermediate education department as a commissioner, and also he's also the education board with the government of Telangana. After that, following which we'll have eminent panelists from across the country, from Telangana, from Karnataka, from Haryana, and other experts in the field of education, skills, and also employment. So join me in welcoming a very senior bureaucrat, Mr. Syed Omar Jalil ji, who is Commissioner for Intermediate Department, Secretary for Board of Intermediate Education with the Government of Telangana. He is, prior to this, he served in various capacities, setting examples. He served as Secretary for the Department of Minority Welfare. He also served as Collector with the Vikarabad Collectorate. He was also associated with Greater Hyderabad Municipal Corporation as Deputy Commissioner. Welcome to this live conclave, Syed Omar Jalil.
Thank you very much. Good morning.
So, first of all, I would like to congratulate Mr. Syed ji that successfully this time, without much of untoward incidents, the Intermediate Education Department could conduct the examinations despite the COVID challenges.
Thank you very much.
So let's start with initial answer. A question. Last year there were some untoward instances because of some discrepancies in the evaluation of the examination sheets. Some suicides also happened. This time, what were the precautions and initiatives that were taken? What were the technologies that were employed to see that there was a double check?
Thank you very much. Very good morning to all the friends. I would like to start off by saying that we reviewed the problems we had faced last year and straight away introduced a new agency, a software provider, to take care of our pre-exam and post-exam process. As you are aware, Telangana State Board of Intermediate Education, all the processes for college recognition and for student admission to issue of result, every process is online. So, first of all, we created a new agency, that is the Center for Good Governance, which is a government-owned organization. We gave the job to them. Secondly, what we did, we noted down whatever problems which were faced by us during last year. For that, we created, first of all, an IT team of IT and domain experts. These domain experts sat with the CGT, Center for Good Governance, and added what we call corrections wherever were required in the software, so that each of the problems which was faced last year could be solved, could be taken care of this time, so that it does not recur again. We prepared the standard operating procedures and discussed the matter with CGG and got the software ready and printed it totally.
I would request other panelists who have joined to please mute their. Yeah, thank you. Please.
So once we did this, we had a continuous interaction with our IT team and the Center for Good Governance throughout. So whatever problems were recurring, we were able to take care of them as and when on the spot. So there was no problem between the department and the service provider. So this is how we were able to overcome the problems which were faced last year. So in this process, we added one more layer of check, that is ICR technology in processing our results. Earlier, we were utilizing only OMR technology to capture the results and to process the results. We added one more layer of checking, that is the ICR character reading also. So that is why we were able to compare the results which were given by the OMR, and then we compared it with ICR readings. So if there were any discrepancies, we took care of them, and we were able to publish the results with nil problems. Thank you.
So we have come across certain, you have also taken certain initiatives towards the mental well-being of the students. You have also opened up certain centers, certain where helplines. Can you please throw some light on that?
See, what has happened the last year also was again here there were 27 suicides, and because of some sort of bungling or imagine the perception of bungling by the board. No doubt there were a lot of problems last year, but so we also took a step towards this and identified one lecturer in every college. There were 2,590 colleges. We identified one lecturer as a student counselor and gave them training with psychological experts. So how to take care of these children, how to identify such kind of children, and what to do and when you find such a child. So we were able to interact, train them, and put them in each and every college. And they were their own lecturers. The most popular ones among them, we did not force any name on them. They identified, the college identified their own lecturers. And then we trained them. Then we put them in the field before the exams. So they were able to identify children, counsel them, gave them hope, gave them tips how to study. And then they also helped them to overcome the fear and stress of exam. This is what we tried. And thereafter, during the exams, just prior to the exam, we identified 7 eminent clinical psychologists, and these psychologists' names and telephone numbers we published continuously in the newspaper. So these were contacted by the children, and lots of calls were there. Some of them received more than 300-400 calls a day. So it was the children as well as the parents who were calling in, asking for help to overcome stress, to overcome fear. So that is why a lot of children and a lot of parents contacted them. And luckily we were able to bring down this menace and this curse of suicides on the children. Unfortunate, but still there were 5 suicides this year. But compared to last year, I would say it's a good beginning. And now again, in another 2 days, we are starting training of these students, student counselors once again. And these student counselors will be given a training again to take care of future problems. We have also a program of utilizing the services of an NGO called Heartfulness Society. They have already counseled 50,000 children from our colleges. Now this year we plan to utilize them to contact all the 1 million children. And they will be meeting the children throughout the year on repeated intervals. And they will be helping them in coping with stress, stress management, fear, exam fear, and all other things.
Yeah, thank you. So that's quite a wonderful initiative that's been taken because mental and social well-being of students has come to light with many such instances. So, Mr. Syed, we have heard of placements, skilling at the level and hiring at the level of degree or graduate education. But there are certain initiatives taken by your department now where hopefully there are placements and skilling in a different way are likely to take place at the junior college level itself. Can you please throw some light on that?
Yes. As you are kindly aware, intermediate vocational students are quite capable of taking care of the job of a technical nature. They are basically vocational students having technical knowledge in various fields: agriculture, mechanical, refrigeration, motorcycles, the different vocational types. We have got 40 different vocational educational centers, vocational streams, 22 courses in intermediate which are vocational combination. So we have last year, year before last, about 5,000 students of the intermediate vocational were placements, campus placements by arranging for the job melas. This year also we have interacted with the Hero Motors and we were able to arrange for placing about 100 of them. I joined in September, October, and we were busy with first with the cutting right the exam process. So therefore, now we are going ahead with this, and with the help of Centurion University, which is a vocational university. So with the help of Centurion University, we are also planning to have a tie-up with the industry partners, so that our children can be straight away inducted into the jobs by job melas as well as by campus. Added to this, we have requested for the Ministry of Skill Development, Government of India, to recognize 10 of our colleges as centers of apprenticeship. So those have been agreed, and these 10 colleges will be centers of apprenticeship training, and they will tie up with the different industry partners like medical, hospitality, and other related fields. And these children will be given 1 year apprenticeship training with a stipend, and thereafter a certificate from Government of India, so which will be very helpful to our boys in securing jobs. Added to this, we have requested the Telangana State Council of Higher Education to start vocational degree courses. Earlier they were called BVOC, Bachelor of Vocational Education. So what was happening? We were having 22 combinations of vocational streams at intermediate level, but these boys were not having similar courses at undergraduate level. Therefore, we requested the Telangana government and the Telangana State Council of Higher Education, and they have agreed. And from this year onwards, about 10 new courses of Bachelor of Vocational Education will be starting in different streams.
That's wonderful, sir. So there was a gap for the vocational students. Yeah. So now in the coming days, there would be vocational degree courses where the students can continue their studies there. Yeah, that's wonderful, sir. And can you also tell us about the kind of infrastructure and the state-of-the-art excellence infrastructure that is being created in the intermediate education?
As I just mentioned before, we have created a memorandum of understanding with Centurion University. They have submitted already to us certain proposals for revising our vocational syllabus, proposing new courses required in the new industry today. Thirdly, we have also requested them to advise us and help us in creating new vocational laboratories and centers of excellence. So immediately this year we are planning to develop or rather upscale our vocational laboratories in 10 locations and also planning to start 4 new centers of excellence.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful, sir. And when we come towards the certain in the present prevailing COVID scenario, where there are challenges, and it also has taken away a certain size of academic year for the students. How you are looking forward to compensate? What are the advisories or recommendations that's been given to the government to compensate this loss of time to the students?
We reviewed this situation because once we started final year exams in March, already there was a scare was going on. And once we completed our exams on March 21st, we could see that this COVID situation was going to be a long-drawn thing. So we prepared a plan of action, wherein we, first of all, we started to prepare online digital lesson content. First, we identified and put it online from 3 sources. Thereafter, we started our own lecturers giving lectures in English and Telugu, and we have already prepared more than 30% of the syllabus, and we are planning to make it 100% available online, so that this will be useful for our children to contact it as and when they require through their smartphones, etc. And we also know that the online mechanism will not be available to the poorest of the poor children. So we plan to telecast lectures in all the subjects, in all the lessons through TSAT, the channel created by the government of Telangana, and as well as Doordarshan. So these channels will be giving our lesson content every day in the coming year. So that is one. Secondly, what we have received instruction from UGC, Government of India, for deleting 30% of the syllabus because of this situation. We have lost already 2 months, and likely we might be starting end of August or something. So nearly 3 months we have lost of the teaching days. So part of the syllabus will be given to the students as online assignments, and these assignments they will bring back to us. We will give them marks as an internal assessment. This is another proposal which we have made. Fourthly, what we have done is we have made a proposal to the government. It is just pending approval that the colleges should be run in shifts, because as you are aware, we need to have physical distances, and colleges and classes are usually very congested, etc. So we set the sanctioned strength of each section, which was 88 earlier per section per class. We propose to bring it down to 44 only. Secondly, it should be run in shift. A morning shift from 8 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. Then afternoon shift from 1 to 5:30 p.m. So that the children are spaced properly. There are no problems as far as mixing together. Everybody should be utilizing the mask. No mask, no entry into the class, as well as utilization of sanitization every single day, and checking the students for temperature, etc. before entering into the class. These are the processes that we have submitted. Further, we have also mentioned that part of the syllabus should be converted into which we have already done. So online content will be available to the students. This will be given to them as assignment, and the assignments will be given internal assessment marks. So these are the few proposals we have submitted to the government. We are expecting favorable response. Possibly another 2 to 3 days we'll get the response. We have also proposed that the colleges should be started somewhere around after the Independence Day, that is 17th of August, we have suggested. So let us see what happens, how the situation turns out.
Okay, great, great. So after August 15th, the classes are likely to commence.
Likely, yes.
Wonderful. So I've also heard about your collaboration, Intermediate Education Department, with the Ministry of Skills, Government of India. Can you tell us about that?
As I mentioned earlier, we have requested the Government of India, Ministry of Skills. There is a regional directorate here in Hyderabad. So we requested them to recognize our colleges as centers of training. So they have recognized 10 colleges last year. And now this year also we are planning to get more colleges. We have 176 vocational colleges. So we want to plan to get recognition for more number of colleges. So students from these colleges will not only study there, but they will also be stipendiary students. They will get a stipend from different industry partners like hospitals, which is the maximum number of students available with us, MPHW and nursing and other things are there. So those students plus mechanical plus other industry partners we have identified, and those people will take, once our boys complete our 2-year course, they will be given 1-year training as a stipendary assistant from these industry partners, and this will be recognized by the Ministry of Skills, Government of India. They will be given a stipend of about 1,500 rupees per month. I beg your pardon, 7,500 rupees per month, and 1,500 rupees will be given as an incentive by the Government of India. Not only that, at the end of 1 year of this stipendary training, these boys will receive a certificate of recognition from the Government of India, which will be very useful for them throughout our country. And also, the industry partners like the hospitals, etc., have promised that once the stipendary training is over, they will absorb them in their hospitals straight away.
That's wonderful. So, in the existing scenario of COVID-19, there are certain challenges, and reaching the classes which you mentioned about the online classes and the content being put and being available for the students in YouTube and other classes. So, how are these infrastructure challenges being meted out? And how are the students going to access to a larger extent to these content?
Thank you. First of all, we have about 2 studio rooms in our intermediate office. These we are utilizing for preparing our online content. Secondly, we have the online content will be prepared by our own lecturers free of charge. We are doing it on an honorary basis. And then the online content will be put on our YouTube channel, as well as it will be beamed as a telecast every day for 3 hours by PSAT, which is a government-owned channel, educational channel. Then secondly, we are also tying up with Doordarshan Yadgiri for telecasting this same. Thirdly, we are preparing an intermediate app. That app also will be useful. And fourthly, we'll be furnishing the libraries of the colleges with digital content. So the children who are not having access to smartphones or such things, they can access them at the college library itself. Therefore, we hope that we'll be able to reach the last student in putting this digital content available to them.
Okay, wonderful. So this year, Honorable Chief Minister, Mr. K. Chandrasekhar Rao, Government of Telangana, has promoted all the students who have appeared for the 10th examination. So after 10th, they'll be joining intermediate. There will be certain basis. On what basis the admissions will take place, and there are certain weightage for the marks also in
Yes,
intermediate
yes,
before
yes.
for the competitive exams. How is that going to be dealt?
Uh, they are being given grades based on their earlier internal performance. So each of the boys will be having grade plus marks also, average marks, whatever will be issued to them, that will be there. If two or more students are having the same grade or marks, then what we'll do is, who is the elder boy will get precedence over the younger boy in getting admission.
Okay, okay, wonderful. So in the coming days, the MSET entrance exams and all, wouldn't be any issues on the weightage part and all this?
MSET in MSET, the marks of intermediate will be considered. So,
Yeah.
in the government of Telangana, Honorable Chief Minister sir has passed all the intermediate second year students. So, each of them who have passed regularly will have a regular memo. Those are the students who had failed but were passed with a grace mark will be given an asterisk. So that will show, identify them from the regularly passed ones. Secondly, in the MSET exam, the 20% or 25% of the marks of the intermediate will be considered. Optional marks will be considered for working out the rank of the student. So it is the 10th class, not 10th class, but the intermediate second year marks which will be considered for the MSET exam. And these are already available because we were able to, with the grace of God and CM Saab's insistence, we were able to complete the exams on time and we were able to complete the evaluation during the lockdown period and we were able to give the results. So there is absolutely no problem as far as intermediate second year is concerned or MSET or any all India level exam.
Wonderful, wonderful. And there are any initiatives or that's being taken up in terms of syllabus and curriculum?
Yes. As per UGC guidelines, the UGC and the Government of India have mentioned that 30% of the syllabus may be deleted for this year only. So that I have already submitted to the government for kind approval. It is under consideration. That will be there. Secondly, we know that we will have less number of days for regular classroom teaching. So we have proposed for about 30% of the syllabus to be put online as a form of assignment. So literally we will have 40 to 50% of the syllabus which will need to be taught in the classrooms in the available time frame before the final exams, which will be normally held in the month of March. Usually we used to start in the first week of March. We have proposed the exams for the coming academic year to be at the end of the March. So this is what we have thought we'll be doing. So we'll be able to cover the whole syllabus, except that 30% which is proposed by UGC, which is going to be deleted.
Okay. So, sir, the prevailing COVID-19 scenario has thrown many challenges, and it is also demanding a new set of skills for survival, employment, and lot many things. So, for this, the teachers and the staff also needs to be trained. So, to what extent the intermediate education department is giving focusing and giving priority for upskilling of teachers, staff, and the teaching staff?
Thank you very much for this question. As you are aware, there has been a lockdown, colleges are not functioning. So what we thought, we utilize this opportunity, turn it into an advantage, and we have identified all the 5,300 lecturers which we are having, 5,300 junior lecturers. We prepared a training program, and with the help of an NGO called Nirman, Cognizant Technologies, and Adobe Systems, we prepared this training program for our lecturers, 15-day program, and they are being trained in preparing digital lesson content, in tackling online technology, in tackling latest technologies, learning them, and then thereafter teaching and leading the students to utilize these technologies and how to access these technologies. So by August 5th, all my 5,300 lecturers will be trained and completed the 15-day training program. Added to this, the Adobe Technologies, which is our technology partner in CSR, they have also promised to give them a 1-year license to utilize the Adobe programs and tools. So these my lecturers who have been trained, they will be preparing my digital lesson content and utilizing the tools and technologies of Adobe to garnish the lecture with animation and other things.
Okay, that's
one second. One other thing, again with Nirman and Cognizant and Adobe, I am planning to start a soft skill training for all our students. That will be somewhere August or September.
Okay, that's wonderful, sir. With this, sir, we would like to allow. We shall continue with a panel discussion. You have given a very wonderful. You have thrown light on various initiatives that's been taken by your department and what can be expected from the Intermediate Education Department of Telangana in the coming days. We are also joined by some eminent panelists from across the country. We have Mr. Shrikant Sinhaji. I would request to please come to put on the video, Shrikant Sinhaji. Yeah. So we have Mr. Shrikant. We would start the panel discussion, which is very essential now, given the prevailing scenario, the challenges that's been thrown upon. I would request the other, So the prevailing scenario has thrown several challenges, and it also very essential. Pramodji, I would request to mute the. Yeah. So we would continue with this panel discussion. This panel discussion would be mainly focusing on the foundation for the students at the 11th and 12th class, and also the skills that are essential and what would be the way forward and innovations that's being done at these two classes. So I welcome Mr. Shrikant Sinha, who's the Chief Executive Officer with the Telangana Academy of Skill and Knowledge under the IT and Industries Department, Government of Telangana. Mr. Sinha has a very rich experience of over 30 years in multi-disciplines. Prior to becoming the CEO of Telangana Academy of Skill and Knowledge, he was also the CEO of NASSCOM Foundation. So welcome, Mr. Sinhaji, once again. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you. My pleasure.
We are also joined by Mr. Parmod Kumar, who's the State Program Officer with the Government of Haryana. There's an interesting background of Mr. Parmod Kumar, who started off his career as a teacher in the Education Department of Haryana. But given his innovative and excellent approach towards the teaching and the outcome of the results of students, he has been made conferred to become the State Program Officer. Welcome, Parmod Kumarji. So now I would request, we would also be joined by other panelists from the state of Karnataka and also Mr. Nand Kumar, who is the Assistant Director with the Department of Education, Government of Haryana, would be joining us. So starting off with Mr. Shrikant Sinha, I would request to give the initial remarks, like what are the challenges, how do you see the present scenario and the need of the new skill sets for the students, for the foundation?
Sure. Thank you very much. And indeed, it's a pleasure and an honor being present on this panel today with such eminent panelists. I think one thing which we have realized, and thanks to this pandemic itself, is that Socrates type of education, which was classroom book education, is no longer going to be the way education will happen, but it has to move online. And that is something which, for a person like me who has been working with the e-learning industry and the online education industry for more than 2.5 decades, is something which is a very, very good news. But I think this is going to democratize education in a big way. And I'm not only talking about online, I also, as Shri Jalil was saying that, Jalilji was saying that there were so many other options like the TSAT option and the others that he's exploring. I think that's where education is actually moving, right? Having said that, I think there are two more things that we need to keep in mind. One is that, when I was young, I used to play with something called as Meccano. Then it became mechanics. Then it became Lego. But now it has become Let Go. Everyone is busy playing with their mobiles itself. So it's very, very important that we give them some kind of tinkering skills or some kind of skills where they are able to actually create things. Because that's where the thing is. If you look at it, it's good that we are having a nation and a state which is having enough jobs. But should we only be depending on only jobs, or should we also be looking at creating job creators? And that's where probably, it's important for people to tinker, to try out different things, and also look at how they can, become entrepreneurs, future in life. So, and entrepreneurship and innovation is something which can be taught and actually, provided right at the school level and the junior college level itself. And that's where we can have that, especially for tier 2, tier 3 towns and cities. I think it becomes much more important for us to make them solopreneurs, micropreneurs, and entrepreneurs. So that's one thing. Second thing, if you look at it, I think it's a godsend opportunity to us that, it's time for us to rethink education itself. Why are we only trying to replicate whatever we used to do in a face-to-face class online, right? So can we change the way education itself is being delivered? Can we look at different kinds of methods through which education can be delivered? For example, it is a common practice in management training where we show them different portions of different films, etc. Right? Can that kind of a thing be also imbibed in our school and college education? Can we look at TED videos? Can we look at autobiographies of people? Because one thing which is also very, very important is that we need to have a value-based education also coming in. Because today, if you look at it, one of the fallouts of the pandemic has been that people have started talking about the triple P bottom line, which is, of course, profit is there, but people and planet also figure in over there. And that's where we need to see that how value-based education also can be imparted to children and youth. So I think we need to prepare them. Of course, they should have an innovation mindset. They should be able to accept challenges. They should be able to work in teams. They should be able to have critical thinking skills and problem solving skills. They should be digitally literate as well as financially literate. Now, all these things are very, very important for the future. And that's where probably I'd like to end now, but happy to take questions or discuss on this further on also. And just to end, I would like to mention over here that we have been running regular webinars every Thursday, 3 to 5 p.m. with different industries on this topic of expectations of the industry post-COVID-19. And believe you me, everyone is talking about all these various things, along with, of course, as they call it, BIRD, some idea about blockchain, IoT, robotization and process automation, and database. So that's where things are moving. Thank you.
That's wonderful, Sinhaji. I'm quite aware of various sectors being touched upon, and by task, various new skills that's being imparted. TASC is working as a connecting bridge between the industry and the educational institution. I would congratulate the TASC and Mr. Sinha for the new center that's been inaugurated in Karimnagar by Mr. K.T. Ramarao, the Honorable Minister for IT, Industry and Commerce. Congratulations on that.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I think that's the initiative where the government also wants to ensure that more and more students in the districts are able to take benefit of the programs run by TASC and other government agencies. Thank you.
Yeah, that's wonderful. We'll touch upon various aspects taken up by TASC. Now we'll move on. To the state of Haryana, Mr. Parmod Kumarji. You have been, you have taken up wonderful initiatives. I would like to hear. We would like to hear from you the initial remarks of the challenges that's been thrown upon by the COVID-19, the Corona pandemic. And how do you see, what are the challenges or demands? I want your initial remarks on that.
Hello. Yes. Are you hearing me, please?
Yes, we are able to hear you now.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you very much to have my words or share my idea or words on this issue. State of Haryana is doing very well. During also, we started e-learning or onlining from 15th of April. In spite of going through with the Zoom meeting or Zoom learning or other e-learning, we were having a EduSet program, and we started our EduSet program very well. We were having 4 channels. We contacted the Ministry of Information. Thank you very much. We were given proper time to Doordarshan, as well as with the help of our local administration, we our all channel in must have a list of all TV. Now we are available. Doordarshan, and we initially have a good MOU with Jio TV, so we are available over there. 9 to 10, and accordingly we are telecasting our program. This is not now reaching to the student is not a big for us, because we are reaching very well. We conducted a survey in our state, and you will be surprised to know that only 3% student of a public school were having Wi-Fi facility, tablet or laptop facility at home. But the television facility was appropriate. More than 93% students were having the television facility at their home. So we tried to go with the television. We were having a very good content for EduSet broadcast, as we were running very well. So now we are reaching over there. So challenge is that broadcast pattern or e-learning pattern is a one-way pattern. So what we are telecasting, we know. What we are presenting, we know. But how not system, we are preparing a station system. This way we are trying to reach to every student. So this is the way. But all the states are facing these channel of e-learning. So we are also facing the same, that new normal will come soon and we will start our school.
Your video is not visible, sir. Can you please check on that?
Okay.
Meanwhile, we'll move on to Mr. Syed Omar Jalilji, who's the Commissioner for the Intermediate Education Department. So can you please tell us about the foundation for students, for the new skill sets that are required, and how do you look at this current scenario as an opportunity to bring in new initiatives and new technology?
Thank you. As you mentioned, we want to convert this adversity into an advantage for the children as well as for the students. As I mentioned just before, all my lecturers are being trained, 100% of my lecturers are being trained to utilize technology to prepare a digital lesson content and to be able to utilize all the tools which are available in the field and to impart the training to our students also. At the same time, we are also partnering with one NGO called Nirmal, Cognizant Technology, and Adobe to give soft skills to our students also as fast as possible. So once the colleges reopen, we will be telling our students how to utilize and how to access the net, how to access the other tools, and to make use of them to learn as well as to utilize them for the future that is one. Secondly, all the syllabus which we have in all these subjects is going to be converted into e-lessons, digital content, audiovisual lectures, along with animation and graphics, etc. And this will be put on our YouTube channel as well as through TSAT and through Doordarshan. Not only that, we want to create one more. We are in the process of creating one application that also will be for children. And as officer, my colleague from Haryana has pointed out, all the children will not be in a position to reach that because they will not have access to smartphones and other things. We will be utilizing in Doordarshan as well as other things. Not only that, we will also prepare these audiovisual lessons in the form of CDs and keep them available in all the college library, so the children can access them and utilize during the free time at the college.
Okay, thank you. So now I would like to move on to Mr. Sinha, CEO with the TASK, Telangana Academy of Skill and Knowledge. Mr. Sinha, during our interaction, I've come to know that the various sectors, the new sectors that TASK is touching upon, including aviation, maybe various other sectors. Can you please tell us about those emerging sectors that where, depending on the need and demand of the industry, you are training the students?
Yeah. So thank you. And before I start, I would like to compliment Sri Jalil on the various initiatives that they have taken to ensure, that students, and as he rightly said, this is, a crisis should not be left. It is an opportunity, and congratulations to him that he's been able to implement it and do it really well. Now, before COVID, things were quite different, and a lot of industries were opening up, and a lot of things were there. Having said that, if you look at Telangana itself, Telangana is home to many sectors, right? For example, 1/3 of the world's vaccines are created in Telangana. Most probably it is assumed, and of course, Bharat, biotech is on the verge of coming up with the vaccine. So probably the COVID vaccine also will come up here itself. Having said that, what is most important is we are having a logistics park in Telangana. We are having life sciences and pharma cities over here. We have got Genome Valley. We have got an aerospace park. So these are various sectors that are already existing over here. Now, what we try to do is work with these organizations, identify what are the skills that are required. For example, aerospace. So we typically people in over here, when Safran set up their operations here, they approached us and they wanted to hire some students, but unfortunately, they were not very satisfied with these students we were getting. So we entered into a partnership with them where we created a program called as Roots to Wings. What we did over there, we went to the polytechnics in the districts for students with electronics and mechanical engineering and diploma students essentially. And we trained them. We first selected them not on a basis or a criteria where it was more of testing their knowledge, but looking at their skills. For example, they were given nuts and bolts, and they were asked to fasten them, unfasten them, and they were timed. They were given problems related to, they were given 3D objects, and they had a sheet on which those 3D objects were there, but in a different position they were kept. So these people had to keep it exactly in the same position, those 3D objects. So looking at the actual job skills required is what we identified these students for. And once these students were identified, we were able to then train them actually. And today, I'm happy to say that 51 of these students are working for Safran itself. So similarly, what we try to do is work with different organizations to understand. For example, last year we launched a vaccine skill development program. So looking at the industry needs, we are able to tailor-make programs along with the partners and skill our students into it, and help them with the placements. The emerging industries post-COVID, of course, if we look at it, since we are talking about a contact-free or contact-less economy, digital commerce is going to go up in a very, very big way, which definitely is there. The second thing is medtech and telemedicine. In fact, this week, Thursday, we are doing expectations of the healthcare and medtech industry, 3 to 5 p.m., where we are having an eminent panel talk about the opportunities in this area. And Sri Jaleel also mentioned about how they are working very closely with the hospitals for training their students, and placing them there. So I think that is one area which is going to grow. And the third area is, of course, automation. Now, when you look at automation, automation opens up a whole gamut of opportunities available all across, be it in manufacturing, be it in smart agriculture, be it in everything. And that's where the whole thing is. Today, if you look at it, there's not one industry or sector that has not been touched by automation, right? Even we did a program on infrastructure, and the people were saying how they are now looking at a cement mixer moving from one location to another is also tracked, so that they can utilize it much better, because it's an expensive equipment. So a lot of such automation and technology is being thrown in, and that's where our students should be aware about automation, AI, and all these various technologies. So these are the sectors which are expected to grow. Automation, digital commerce, etc., are irreversible trends. They are here to stay for long.
Okay, thank you. That's wonderful initiatives. Now I would request Mr. Pramod Kumar to please tell us about the initiatives on the digitization and focus of the department on the new age technologies, and also the industry skilling that's being imparted to the students at these levels, at the 11th and 12th class. And
Thank you very much. We are also trying to cope up with a new requirement, as it's mentioned in National Education Policy Draft, that we need to change our 11th or 12th education system. We need to identify 21st century skill, and we have to teach our students according to the new need. So if we talk about the 21st century skill, scientific temper is also there, art and other issues are also there, oral and written communications are also very important. So, and another issue like physical education, wellness and sports is also there, problem solving and logical reasoning is also there. So vocational exposure skill is also there. Digital literacy, computerization, computer thinking, ethical and moral reasoning. These are the 21st century skill, and we are trying to cope up with them. So we, with the help of MSME, we have recently introduced some new course like AutoCAD, SolidWorks, Electric CAD, CNC programming. So we have just introduced these new courses with the help of MSME industry, and these are online courses, and we are offering our student of 11th and 12th student in our schools. So The foundation and higher education, we are also introducing some subjects which are going very much popular for mental well-being and wellness. Now psychology is very much popular. We are introducing this subject in our schools, and modern art is also, art and craft is also very popular. Homemaking, so we are introducing homemaking course also, home science also, and food preservation. We are introducing new courses of +1 and +2 students at our school level. As far as the vocational courses are concerned, we are running 23 vocational courses as per the need of area, like the area in Gurgaon or in Faridabad, where automobile industry and IT industries are there. We are offering IT course over there, automobile course over there. The area which is near to Delhi NCR, like Rohtak and Sonipat, they are working very well in the field of medical. So we are offering wellness courses and medical courses over there. We are focusing on agriculture courses with the help of Israel government. We are running an Indo-Israel project in our Haryana, and we have lots of research center of Israel government. So this joint project is only working on food and harvest and horticulture and floriculture, as well as on citric fruits. So the land or the area, we were having some irrigation issue like Sirsa and Hisar. We are establishing food park, fruit park over there. Now we are working on citric fruits like lemon and kinnu and pomegranate, and as recently we have introduced the Israeli other fruits over there. So we are working there. So in schools and class 11 or class 12, we are introducing the courses which are very much useful for them. With the help of fishery department in Delhi NCR area, where fish ponds are very much demand, and we are biggest supplier of fishes and vegetable to the Delhi market. So we are introducing fishery and pearl culture and other courses. As well as now we are the highest supplier of hatchery. So you may be aware that in North India, Haryana is leading in hatchery, so or in poultry. So we are introducing some hatchery and poultry related in our school. So from the very beginning, we are trying to cope up with the student. We are trying to equip them. So as a way that if after passing grade 12, if they want to start their own entrepreneurship, they may be equipped. If they want to start their own business, they may be equipped. If they want to go in their family business, because in Haryana now agriculture is not the only business. Agriculture, floriculture, fishery, food processing, fruit and vegetable. So these are different industries growing in Haryana. So we are developing and we are preparing our students as per this these type of needs. Maruti, Honda, these are biggest automobile companies which are very much helpful for us. They are offering so these are we are offering to grade 11 and grade 12. I was listening very carefully both the officer of Telangana. They are doing very well, and you mentioned that biotech industry, wonderful. In Telangana is leading in Rewari or in Faridabad. We are also having some biotech big companies. They are working on vaccine. So this is new idea for me, and I hope we will request to Telangana government. They are also our partner in Bade Bharat campaign. They are also, Telangana is partner of Haryana in culture exchange program. Haryana. So with this way, we will request them, how can we start such courses in biotech courses at school level. Thank you.
the range of subjects that being provided by the Haryana government is amazing. Horticulture, sericulture, various sectors. This is amazing. This is quite interesting. I also come to you about. I would also like to know, like, these are the various sectors. There might be a lot of collaborations that are happening with the industry. Can you please throw some light on the kind of collaborations and the upskilling of the teaching staff in Haryana?
Yes, as far as the upscaling of teaching class is concerned, we have 4 vocational university. Vishwakarma University, which is dedicated to work for Haryana to develop the courses, to develop the content and correlate with the school and industry. So we have a good support of Vishwakarma University. We have good support of some automobile industry. These industries are offering us very well designed teacher training module. They are offering us teacher training and they are supplying us syllabus and curriculum as per their need. Suppose some changing are happening in the automobile industry. So on the basis of their need, they are offering us some new courses. Recently, I would like to share a good example with you. Recently, Maruti is transmitting through electric car. So now they are offering us in coming 2 years what they are expecting from their students. So after passing grade 12 class, lots of the students are getting placement in Maruti or other automobile industry. So we are getting good help from this industry. As far as the other industry like agriculture, floriculture, horticulture, fishery, poultry, some industry and some organization like CII and FICCI, they are also taking good initiatives. They are connecting school with industry and they are offering us new courses, new requirement as per their study and as per their research. So one word I would like to share, that connection between school and industry is must. If we are connecting our students with the industry, if we are sending our university to our students to visit industries, if we are sending our teacher to visit industry, or if we are allowing our industry to come to join our school and be our CSR partner, we can develop a good environment.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful, Pramodji. Thanks for sharing those insights. I would like to come to Syed sir. Sir, you have heard Mr. Pramodji, a lot of wonderful initiatives being taken up out there. Of course, Telangana is also on the forefront, as you mentioned, about the hospitals, the medical industry, and various others. How is Telangana 11th and 12th intermediate education going towards in that direction? In terms of the agriculture, in terms of automobile industry, laying foundation for the students right at the 11th and 12th class. Can you please throw some light on that?
Yeah. Thank you very much. I had missed out. As I mentioned to you earlier, intermediate vocational, we have got 22 combinations in 6 different fields. One is agriculture. It has got 4 different courses, including agriculture, crop production, livestock management, fisheries, dairying, sericulture. Business and commerce, accounting, taxation, office assistant, insurance, marketing, retail management. Similarly, engineering technology courses, automobile engineering, construction technology, computer science, electronics and communication technician, electrical technician, and mechanical technician. Home science courses are commercial government technology, preschool teacher training, humanities, tourism and hospitality management, computer graphics, animation, health and paramedical, medical lab technicians, physiotherapy, multipurpose health workers, pharma technology. So these are the 22 combinations which we are having, and we have recently started tying up with all the industry partners. I have already tied up with the hospitals, and then other mechanical, and I have also tied up with the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India for their for our voice to be taken in. And thirdly, we have got another 40 courses which are short-term courses, whereby the children who are not interested in higher studies or not capable of doing this 2-year intermediate course, they will be given 3 months, 6 months, 9 months training in different courses, 40 different courses. For them also, we have got a tie-up. As I mentioned earlier, right now with the Ministry of Skill Development, they are recognizing our 10 colleges for apprenticeship training. Medical field has already agreed, and we are tying up in other fields also. As I mentioned, agriculture, business, technology, home science, and humanities and others we are tying up. Similarly, we have tied up with the Hero Motors here. So they have also promised to revamp our laboratories as also take our boys directly from our intermediate course and immediately to their company. Similarly, we are planning to have interaction with other industry partners in collaboration with Centurion University, because Centurion has set up the best model of college and industry collaboration. So similarly, we are planning to do the same. Yeah.
Wonderful, wonderful. Sir, as Mr. Parmod also mentioned, there can be a collaboration between exchange programs that can happen between Telangana and Haryana also in the coming days. As
they could learn from Haryana. They have done a lot of initiatives which I really appreciate. I have noted down also. I'll be getting in touch with them and I'll try to exchange ideas, take whatever they have done, which are ahead of us. We'll definitely like to replicate in Telangana.
Certainly. Now I'll come to Mr. Sinha. Mr. Sinha, you have mentioned about automation, you have mentioned about aviation also. Task is also reaching out to the rural areas, tier 1, tier 2 cities, and also in the districts. So what are the other sectors that the task is looking at, or in the coming days, there will be a kind of upskilling that happens through task?
Thank you. In fact, I was quite impressed to see the various programs that are being offered by Jalilji, in the schools, all the 40 combinations, etc. I think that's fantastic, because then students who come out and move to our colleges, we'll be able to train them much faster, much better. Yeah. But having said that, I think what is important is look at where the jobs are. That is most important, right? Yeah. It is no point that I create people in something which is not going to work for us, right? So as I said, we would be concentrating on certain areas. For example, Telangana is, very few people know that, but Bahubali was created over here itself, right? So AVGC is one area where a lot of jobs and potential is there, because with the world going virtual, more and more, such content would be required. So that's one area where definitely a lot of training is going to happen. We have already started conducting training, and in fact, we have recently partnered with Coursera, where we are going to offer different kind of programs, including to people who are between jobs. So people who have been recently laid off, etc., we are going to help them also, as well as people who are unemployed. So Government of Telangana has this partnership where 50,000 people can benefit out of it. Now, moving ahead, if you look at it, we are already, civil engineering, etc., which is there, requires a lot of technology inputs now moving ahead, because you need to do things much faster. You will probably have prefabricated structures, load-bearing structures, etc., which you would bring in and put into place for faster construction if required. So all these things. So looking at all the core engineering areas, ensuring that we are able to help them understand technology in that particular domain is going to be key. Running programs on logistics, on life sciences, on pharma, pharmacovigilance, medical coding and billing, and all these kinds of programs, etc., we would be running. Apart from the IT programs, which we anyway do. For example, as we speak, we had about 3,000 plus students undergo a program on Salesforce, which is a CRM package. And when you are online, loyalty, there is something which is called a shock to loyalty. Because if you don't find the right thing that you're looking for online, right, the brand, you immediately shift the brand and choose something else. So CRM is going to play a very, very huge part moving ahead. So we are training students on CRM, etc., because customer will remain the king, even in a contact-free economy. So these are some of the programs that we are doing. And apart from that, there are about 70 odd other programs also that we are offering. We do have a lot of content available with us, which we will provide to students. Having said that, I'd also like to mention that till now, TASK was only looking at the second year, third year for degree, and second, third, fourth year for engineering. But this year we have decided that since we would also be taking the first year students also, because it's important for us to give them a grounding on communications and 21st century skill, as Pramodji mentioned, and I also mentioned earlier, only I didn't use the word 21st century skills, but I would probably not call them as soft skills, but essential skills, because moving ahead, working from home, as rightly said, communication will become a very, very important part. So 21st century skills programs are on offer even now. We will create guided learning paths for all the students in terms of English and communications in first year, right kind of technology or whatever stream that they are choosing in the second, third, and final year would be internships, etc. So that placements is much better. So that's how TASK is going to focus moving ahead.
Okay, wonderful. Mr. Sinha, I would like to know what is the kind of, when you train or upskill the students, depending on the demand, industry demand on their employment, what is the kind of material or the curriculum, how is it designed?
So essentially, if you look at it, typically we work with partners. So for example, if I look at pure technology, I would work with all the people like Salesforce, their own faculty members would be conducting programs for our faculty members, who in turn would conduct the programs. But using online, we are able to scale it up immediately because we have our own faculty members at TASK itself. Plus we have got 676 colleges partnering with TASK and 57,000 students in college as of now. So we have all these colleges also associated with us. So we are able to run the program that way. Some of the content, for example, 21st century skills, etc., and all these kind of content, we have in-house competence and we have created a lot of content also. If we look at some of the content like aerospace, because we don't have experts in aerospace, we work together with the organization to get a holistic content up. So that is what we call it the first day, first hour productivity program, where we work very closely with the organization itself. So typically it's all the three models that we use and try to fit in what is the best, what is the most suitable. And we want quick turnout. So that's where we work closely. And I cannot have a aircraft engine in my task center. So I might as well as use an industry which is actually having those things where I can expose my students to that. So that's where we work with the organizations and content.
Yeah. So of course, the role of task is more of a functional. And in this era, how is it functioning? I mean, the hands-on training that is required. How is task function in that case?
So essentially, if you look at it right now, we are providing training and programs on application of technology to civil engineering. For example, construction of footpaths, right? We ran a program for faculty development as well as students on load-bearing structures. So this was a 2 weeks program on designing of bridges and so on and so forth. So a lot of such programs where technology is playing a key thing. For example, KD, etc. We have been running programs on that. We have been doing, so these are more of simulation hands-on kind of a program, right? Are we able to run programs on calibration, etc.? Right now, no, because we haven't explored or created content on AR and VR. But now, probably moving ahead, we'll need to see how we can, actually do simulations, etc. Do serious games. Just to give you an example, in one of my previous avatar, I used to run a banking academy, and passing of checks or drafts for a banker is most important. And I never knew till that time that drafts could also bounce, because if there's a difference between the value in words and numbers, a draft can bounce if the power is signatory. So we created as a game and had a Candy Crush engine kind of a thing along with it. So if you were passing the right check or draft, you would get a gold or silver, depending on what time you have been able to, pass the check, etc. And we were able to build competence. While in the beginning, people used to take 5 minutes to pass a check or a draft, it became 22 checks or drafts in a minute they were able to see, scan, and pass. So a lot of such things can be done, can be used. So it is not necessary, and of course, ensuring, I don't like using the word social distancing, but physical distancing. And once the colleges open up, we would be able to have, training imparted over there also, but in, shift kind of a thing, ensuring that physical distancing is maintained. For example, our center that is opened up in Karimnagar, while it was created for infrastructure for 60 people in a lab, right? We are just putting in 20 systems over there right now, so that physical distancing is maintained. At the same time, people can come and practice. So that's typically how it is being done. But yes, of course, all programs which can be done virtually through sandboxing environments or through simulations, etc., are being given a priority right now.
Wonderful. There is one more question, Mr. Sinha, that you are tasked and you are are in touch and in coordination. You know the status of the requirements, the employment and all. And you have also been the part of NASSCOM Foundation. You have been the CEO of NASSCOM Foundation, which is an IT industry association. So where do you see there are opportunity, employment that's happening in the coming days? What would be the size?
See, today, if you look at it, and of course, if you look at most of the industries today have been impacted. But the good part of the story is that impact is for a very, very short duration, right? So if you look at different industries are going to, come back again in different time periods, etc. But having said that, I think today, IT industry, if you look at it, right? I think what has happened is IR 4.0 was already coming, right? So we were talking about connected machines, connected humans, connected devices, etc., etc. Now, what the pandemic has brought about is acceleration of the same thing. So nothing else has changed. So people now would be having jobs, as I said, more towards automation. So RPA. So if you look at TASK itself, TASK has partnered with UiPath, which is an RPA organization, robotization and process automation organization, as well as we have the understanding, etc. Only thing we need to sign the dotted line with Automation Anywhere, which is other largest company in the world on automation. So we are partnering both of these organizations to ensure the right RPA skills. Then if we look at blockchain, so that is another area which will financial, with a lot of commerce going online, blockchains are the requirement. So these are some of the areas where a lot of manpower would be required in the future. Even now, people are looking at interviews are happening. So the trend is now virtual interviews are happening. So we have started training our final year students on how to behave and how to participate in a virtual interview. Because there you're not face to face. So how do you convince online through that model? So all these things are required. If we look at the job requirements, I think all industries are opening up, right? As I said, aviation, defense sector has already come up, aerospace, right? Aviation is taking a hit. It will probably take 8 quarters to 12 quarters to come back. Travel, tourism, etc. has taken another hit, and that also will take time. But manufacturing, pharma, healthcare, medtech, all these areas are booming, and there are jobs. In fact, putting across, we are doing placements even as we speak. In fact, this IT tower that opened, we also distributed. The Honorable Minister, K.T. Ramarao Garu, also gave offer letters to various people who have joined in over there. So things are going on. There are jobs. So my humble submission to everyone listening to this is, please don't get bothered about people being laid off and things like that. What is important is, please, as the Honorable Prime Minister also said, skill, reskill, upskill, reskill. And reskilling is becoming more important. Please reskill yourself in skills which will not go out, which is towards digital commerce, towards robotization, automation, and the bird, as we said.
Okay, wonderful. That's wonderful. Thank you for those insights, Mr. Sinha. I'll come to Mr. Pramod. Pramod ji, as Mr. Sinha said about skill reskilling and upskilling, which also indicates towards the Atmanirbhar initiative, or the line given by our Honorable Prime Minister, Mr. Narendra Modi. In that direction, what is Haryana government doing in that direction?
I was listening to Mr. Sinha very carefully, and he highlighted some like virtual reality, augmented reality.
Hello.
As far as Haryana is concerned, you must be about Atal Tinkering Lab. Give Atmanirbhar Bharat. In Atal Tinkering, we are focusing on robotech, drone technology, coding, 3D printing, virtual reality, machine learning, artificial intelligence. We are working on this, and we are offering some different type of courses to the student, and we are giving them hand-on practices. They may print, they may design with 3D printer, they may prepare, they may design, they may innovate. Drone with the waste, drone with the delivery services, drone with the artificial intelligence, drone with the camera. They may do coding, they may assemble robotics. So these students are giving hands-on training in 11th and 12th classes. After passing the 12th grade, if they want to join higher education, they can choose the new courses as per their interest. Or if they want to join an industry and entrepreneurship, they are also having a good experience. I would like to share one thing with you. In 11th and 12th, we are preparing our students for competitive exam. Earlier, you may be aware that South India having domination. South Indian students are having a domination in IIT and NIT. They are capturing their seats. But now you may be aware that students from Haryana or students from North India also participating, or they are getting good seats in IIT. So we are preparing our students for IIT or NIT also. We are giving them training as private coaching centers are giving them. We are preparing our students for CLAT also. And one more thing, you will be surprised to know, and if you see the analysis, we are preparing our students for NDA, National Defense Academy, because North India is they feel that they are warrior. They have fight loads of war, so they have such type of feeling. If you see the list of latest pass out NDA students, 85% pass outs are from Haryana and Punjab and Himachal and UP. So we are preparing our students for NDA preparation, and we are making them to join we call this training for belt services. So NDA or CRPF or BSF or Chandigarh Police or Delhi Police, we are preparing our students. One more thing I would like to share with you, which is very useful. We, in grade 11 and grade 12, we are preparing our students for sports activity. If you see the last 3 years, Khelo India Games, so we are champion of last 3. If you see the Olympic medal, if you see the Commonwealth medal, if you see the Asian medal, Haryana is doing very well, wonderfully. And we are preparing them from schools. we have a culture of sports. So those students who do excellent in sports, they get medal. Rest of join kabaddi, and those who are not able to get good rank or good position, they join as a gym trainer. So if you go to Delhi and if you say the trainer in gyms, 95% gym trainer you will find Haryanavi. So they are getting good muscles and good salary. So as Shrikant sir was saying that student will opt such courses where they are having chance to get the job. So we need to find out the area where we can job, where we can placement. No use of getting admission in a simple graduation college and doing graduation art and making the crowd of graduates. No use of doing this. We need to explore where we have the potential of jobs. So we are identifying this area, and now there is a good culture. Students are opting such courses on their own. So their first target is getting good job. And the students who get jobs in Delhi, they do part-time job and they do study as well as, and after most of the students who are in IIT or NIT or in Delhi Engineering College or in other commerce college of Delhi, they are doing part-time job because on grade 11 and grade 12, they have some hand-on.
Okay.
School level, Atal Tinkering Lab, it's a really good initiative. You will be surprised to know that our students participated in various national science fair, biodegradable projects. They are developing agri-based projects. They are developing drone-based, 3D printing based. So these are the things we are incorporating. Thank you.
That's wonderful to know about. Now the trend has completely changed. It's not about those traditional degrees and all these foundations are being laid right at 11th and 12th class, yes, which wasn't there earlier. So, sir, as Mr. Parmod, Syed sir, as Mr. Parmod told about a special focus on NDA also, National Defense Academy. They're also looking at CRPF as a employment opportunity. That sports, there is also sports they are looking at as a place of employment, this fitness and all that. So of course South India, as he said, have been dominant towards engineering, the medicine and all. What is the role in the sports field and in the defense field at the 11th and 12th class?
I was keenly hearing Pramod sir, and I was noting down whatever he was saying. As of today, sports or NDA or NIT coaching is not there with us. We have started coaching our boys for NEET, MSET, and AIEEE. But definitely, I'll be taking up this NDA and Central Armed Forces recruitment. Sports also will have a look at. So definitely we'll be using this as a first short-term courses. Thereafter, as a regular intermediate course. We are already in touch with ICAI to revise our existing combinations. CEC, MEC, HEC. They are no more easy to
yes.
get.
Yeah.
We are planning to introduce newer combinations so that our boys will be immediately lapped up by the industry. At the same time, we have also trained our faculty by the ICAI literates. They have come forward, the members of the ICAI have come forward and taught us, our lecturers, our faculty. So they are ready to take care of all these new systems like blockchain and other things which will be there for our short-term courses children, as well as our intermediate vocational who are there in the commerce stream. So similarly, definitely we will be taking up courses which are being taught in Haryana, and I would like to come over. I would invite you to come to Hyderabad also.
Wonderful, sir. Wonderful.
Can I add one small thing? Yep.
Yes, please.
Task definitely is playing a part, and in fact, we know that barely just about 1% or 2% is the people who get from Telangana into the army, and therefore for the last 2 years plus, we have been running training and skilling programs for Jawans as well as officers through our finishing school model. In fact, the call that I had just got when I was on the webinar itself was from Indian Air Force. So our the previous Chief Secretary and the government of Telangana had committed to Air Force that we would help them recruit and get better students from Telangana. So we are working with them, and probably say Jalilji, I'll be reaching out to you for getting some inputs, because they are also looking at airmen apart from officers. Officers definitely we can help, but I will reach out to you for the airmen, sir.
Thank you very much, sir. I would like to point out that while I was in Visakhapatnam as collector, we had a very successful training program of recruitment of armed forces personnel, as well as there was a recruitment of army as well as of police. So we had carried out some 6 weeks training program, and a lot of children from Visakhapatnam were selected there. Definitely we have this kind of programs here. Definitely we need to have more representation from South India.
Wonderful, wonderful, sir. Yeah, there is a kind of healthy competition, as Jalil sir said and Parmoji said. Most of the defense and army are from Haryana, Punjab, and UP. So there is going to be a competition from South India as well. Sinhaji, task has been mostly touching upon the students in the degree level. How do you see at the foundation at 11th and 12th class? Though you are from that level, how do you see the foundation for these skills?
See, basically, as say Jalilji said, that in case we are able to give good communication skills, right, to the students right at these 11th and 12th level itself, right, then I think a large portion of the time, see today if I look at it, 66% of my students who go for an interview, right, get rejected not because they lack technical competence, right? And this is across, not only IT, in others also, but they lack communication skills. So I think in case we can build the communication skills and the team building and all these foundation skills or essential skills in 11th and 12th itself, I think we will have a much better workforce and more employable students moving ahead. So I think that's where the foundation can be laid. Probably if I get a chance, I would like to lay the foundation much earlier. But yes, definitely by 11th and 12th, these foundations should be laid very, very clearly. So that's what I would, suggest.
Yeah, that's as rightly pointed out, Parmoji, as Mr. Sinha has rightly pointed out about the soft skills, communication skills. Though the students are very good at the technicalities, the technical knowledge and all that. When it comes to the interview, when it comes to the, now these days, the interviews are, as Mr. Sinha said, it's virtual. Can you briefly tell us about the soft skills and the communication skills that's being laid, foundation being laid at this level, at 10th, 11th, 12th?
Yes. Sudhir, actually, English, if we say about Haryana, English is not our mother tongue and it's a third language. And most of the interview during placement training, first of all, I agree with Mr. Sinha. What we are assessing in engineering college, we are assessing something different. We are not assessing what should be assessed. अब इंडस्ट्री में जब कोई बच्चा इंटरव्यू के लिए जाता है, वहां पर कुछ और चीज चेक की जाती है. हम लोग बच्चे को पास करने के लिए कुछ और चेक करते हैं. देखिए, किसी भी बच्चे को इंडस्ट्री में इसलिए प्लेसमेंट नहीं मिलती कि उसके ग्रेड अच्छे हैं. उसको प्लेसमेंट मिलती है, उसका इंटरप्रेन्योर स्किल्स कैसा है, उसके अंदर लीडरशिप क्वालिटी है या नहीं है, बिल्डिंग जाता है नहीं है, वो एनालिटिकल का कैसा है, वो प्रेशर बीरिंग कितनी करता है, कितने नहीं करता है, वो उसमें काम करता है, वो टास्क मास्टर है या होता वो इस हम लोग डिग्री कोर्सेज में बच्चों का जब हम फाइनल एग्जाम लेते हैं बच्चों को इस बेस के ऊपर चेक नहीं करते हैं। अब बात आती है +1 और +2 में। हम लोग सबसे, हमारा हरियाणा का जो बच्चा है, अगर मैं अपनी भी बात करूं तो हम लोग उतनी शानदार तरीके से इंग्लिश में कम्युनिकेशन नहीं कर पाते। जब क्वेश्चन पूछा जाता है हम उसको सेटिस्फाई नहीं करा पाते। अब हम लोगों ने इसके लिए क्या किया है, हम लोगों ने किया है कि हमने कोर्स इंट्रोड्यूस किया है, उसकी हार्ड कॉपी और उसकी सॉफ्ट कॉपी में मैं शेयर करूंगा। आई एम नॉट अफ्रेड ऑफ इंग्लिश। हम लोगों ने 500 ऐसे क्वेश्चन जो अमूमन पूछे जाते हैं हम लोगों ने ग्रेड 1 से स्टार्ट किए। ग्रेड 1 में उसका लेवल बहुत कम है, ग्रेड 2 में और बड़ा, ग्रेड 8 में और बड़ा, ग्रेड 12 में और बड़ा। क्वेश्चन वही है लेकिन जैसे जैसे ग्रेड बड़ा होता चला जाता है हम लोग उसको सिखाते। तो इसका हमने बुक का नाम ही रखा आई एम नॉट अफ्रेड ऑफ इंग्लिश। अब पैंडेमिक चल रहा है, लॉकडाउन चल रहा है, हमने लॉकडाउन को भी हमने अपॉर्चुनिटी में बदला। हमने उसी बुक का उसका वीडियो जनरेट किया, हमने वही वीडियो टेलीकास्ट की। बच्चे घर पे बैठे हैं, आई एम नॉट अफ्रेड ऑफ इंग्लिश वो वॉच कर रहे हैं, उसकी प्रैक्टिस कर रहे हैं। एक चीज और मैं बताता हूँ, बड़ी शानदार चीज है, बड़ी छोटी सी चीज है। हम लोगों के टीचर का भी जो उच्चारण है, जो प्रोनाउंसिएशन है वो परफेक्ट नहीं है, क्योंकि हरियाणवी टीचर है हरियाणवी में ही अंग्रेजी बोलता है, पंजाबी टीचर पंजाबी में अंग्रेजी बोलता है। हम लोगों ने सीरी का और गूगल का इस्तेमाल किया। हम लोगों ने बच्चों को आई एम नॉट अफ्रेड ऑफ इंग्लिश के क्वेश्चन दिए और ये कहा कि आप ये क्वेश्चन गूगल से पूछो, सीरी से पूछो। तो इससे फायदा क्या हुआ, बच्चों को क्वेश्चन पूछना आया। क्वेश्चन पूछने के लिए पहले उनको इंग्लिश में क्वेश्चन बोलना पड़ेगा, फिर वो सीरी से गूगल से पूछेंगे, फिर सीरी और गूगल उसका आंसर दे रही है, फिर उसका अंडरस्टैंड हो रहा है, फिर वो देख रहे हैं कि उन्होंने ठीक जवाब दिया है नहीं जवाब दिया। जो बुक में आंसर लिखा है उसमें सीरी ने और गूगल ने क्या आंसर दिया, हमने इसको एक एक्टिविटी में बदला। आम कॉमन स्कूल में हर टीचर के मोबाइल में गूगल है, सीरी है, मोबाइल बीच में रखा, एक नंबर क्वेश्चन तुम पूछो, 2 नंबर तुम पूछो, 3 नंबर पूछो, तुम्हें सीरी ने गूगल ने क्या आंसर दिया। तो ये जो चीजें बिल्कुल मैं सिन्हा जी से पूरी तरह सहमत हूं। वी नीड टू प्रिपेयर आवर स्टूडेंट्स फॉर इंटरव्यू आल्सो। स्टूडेंट्स आर हैविंग 10 CGPA, गुड। मतलब मुझे बड़ी हैरानी होती है, पैक का, IIT दिल्ली का हरियाणवी बड़े अच्छे CGPA से पास हुआ बच्चा इंटरव्यू में फेल हो जाता है, इंटरव्यू में परफॉर्म नहीं कर पाता, उसके पास वो स्किल है ही नहीं। तो इंडस्ट्री की रिक्वायरमेंट को असेसमेंट करना सबसे बहुत जरूरी है। सईद सर ने बिल्कुल सही कहा, हम लोगों को, श्रीकांत सर ने बिल्कुल कहा, हम लोगों को एक ऐसी विद इन द डिपार्टमेंट, विद इन द गवर्नमेंट एक ऐसी सेल बनाने की जरूरत है जिसमें इंडस्ट्री के लोग हों, स्कूल एजुकेशन के लोग हों, टेक्निकल एजुकेशन के, हेल्थ एजुकेशन के, मेडिकल एजुकेशन के, वोकेशनल एजुकेशन के, सब लोग हों। वो एक फिकी या CII इसको इनिशिएटिव को ले और वो बताए, हर 6 महीने बाद एक बुकलेट जारी करे कि हमारी आने वाली रिक्वायरमेंट ये रहेगी, हमें 2 साल बाद ये चाहिए। अब ये बात अमूमन कही जाती है कि अगले 3 साल में इस समय के 80% जो प्रोफेशन है वो गायब हो जाएंगे।
हेलो प्रमोद जी। Yeah. So there seems to be an internet issue.
कि नए प्रोफेशन कौन से आएंगे, उसे बस डिजाइन। हेलो, ब्लॉकचेन मैनेजमेंट कितनी बड़ी इंडस्ट्री है। अरे पूरे का पूरा बिटकॉइन इसके ऊपर टिका हुआ था, लेकिन हमारे स्कूलों में बच्चों को पता ही नहीं कि ब्लॉकचेन नाम की कोई चीज है। तो अगर हम अर्ली स्टेज पे ये चीजें नहीं बताएंगे तो बच्चे कैसे समझ पाएंगे? कौन, मतलब हम लोग क्यों 10 साल 15 साल 10 साल 15 साल पीछे चल रहे हैं? तो इसमें मेरा जो सजेशन है वो यही है कि CII या फिक्की किसी एक प्लेटफॉर्म के ऊपर एक सेल बने और वो सेल सारी की सारी जितनी भी स्कूल, वोकेशनल, टेक्निकल, मेडिकल, सब लोगों के साथ बैठ के और हर 6 महीने बाद रिपोर्ट जारी करें। थैंक यू।
ये बहुत ही इंटरेस्टिंग पॉइंट आगे आया है सिन्हा जी के कहने के बाद, फाउंडेशन में क्या होना चाहिए. और Syed sir, I would like to, though you have had the entire 10+1 and 10+2 education of including private and government, but you also had around 2,000 colleges, right? So and majority of them are from the government colleges, and this is the biggest challenge. That is the soft skills and communication skills are the biggest challenge in this area. There is a kind of divide that private junior colleges or private schools, government school, private colleges and government colleges. There is a clear divide. ये ऐसा भी होता है कि इस कॉलेज से बच्चे आते हैं, इनका स्किल्स अच्छा होगा या इनका सॉफ्ट स्किल अच्छा होगा, कम्युनिकेशन स्किल अच्छा होगा. सो यू आर हेडिंग 2,000 colleges, more than 1 lakh or some number of students. What do you have to say about this foundation?
Very correctly pointed out by Pramod Kumar Saab and Sinha Saab also. First Sinha Saab. As I mentioned earlier, we have started negotiation with an NGO called Nirman. So they said they will come up with a program of improving soft skills of students. अभी हम कह रहे हैं कि अपने तरफ से IT ला देंगे, ऑनलाइन एजुकेशन ला देंगे, सारे काम कर देंगे. बच्चों को भी तो इसकी नॉलेज होनी चाहिए कि हाउ टू एक्सेस द इंफॉर्मेशन, हाउ टू एक्सेस द इंटरनेट. तो जो सॉफ्ट स्किल्स डेवलप करने के लिए हम प्राइवेट ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के जरिए CSR में ये प्रयत्न शुरू किए हैं. और this will be starting in another 1 week or 10 days, the soft skill development of students. Right now I'm training my faculty will be over by first week of August. Immediately afterwards we'll start with the boys, where it will be open to all. I would prefer basically the government college boys. हम government college के boys का WhatsApp group वगैरह बना रखे हैं. इससे पहले हमने ये किया था कि बच्चों को इस diverge into Urdu. What we had done earlier after the exams, we wanted our children to prepare for the All India competitive exams and the MSET, etc. So what we did, we identified the links where the lesson content was immediately available free of charge. That we communicated to our children. We communicated it to my district officer. My district officer communicated to each of the school principals. The school principal communicated it to the lecturers. So lecturers and children are having a WhatsApp groups. So through them, we were able to interact and inform them of the availability of the lesson content. And they have also we have started a scheme through which free competitive exam coaching is being given. So these groups we are utilizing. So for soft skill development also, I'll be utilizing them to improve. As Pramod sir had pointed out, we will be taking up that also.
That's wonderful, sir. Before we close this wonderful conclave, I would like to please have the parting remarks from each of the speaker, the panelists out here. Syed sir, I would request the parting of remarks for the students, a message you would like to give.
From my side, as you are aware, we have the biggest problem of stress management. Earlier, we had very unpleasant experiences after results, etc. This year has been a very happy ending, although we did have some unpleasant incidents of 5 suicides taking place. But then I would say our effort has paid dividends, and children are more aware and they are able to control their fear, stress, and they will be much more competitive. Then we are making all the efforts to bring the world to their fingertips, so to say. And then we would like to introduce the latest and lots more technologies, and to make the poorest of the poor students who come to our government colleges, to make them the most successful and the most competitive boys coming into the next years.
Yeah, that's a strong message and a very message, especially for those who are coming from the poor background. प्रमोद जी, हम चाहते हैं आप भी एक अपना पार्टिंग ऑफ रिमार्क्स दीजिए फॉर द स्टूडेंट्स इन दिस प्रिवेलिंग चैलेंजिंग सिनेरियो.
थैंक यू वेरी मच. देखिए, बच्चों को मेरा यही संदेश है, आप लोग जो भी करें, जो आपके मन में है, जो आपकी इच्छाओं पैशन है, वही करें. रोजगार सबको मिल जाता है, लेकिन दुर्भाग्य यह है कि 87% लोग अपनी पसंद के रोजगार में नहीं है, और वो 87% लोग जो है वो दुखी हैं. आप लोग जो है जिस क्षेत्र में भी आपकी रुचि है, उसी में अपनी शिक्षा में अपने हुनर को निखारें. और अभी सईद सर ने बहुत शानदार बात की कि गरीब से गरीब, पूर से पूर फैमिली का बच्चा जो इनके कॉलेज में आता है. देखिए, अब जो समय है वो गरीब परिवार के बच्चों का ही है. प्रधानमंत्री जी ने कल मन की बात में एक हरियाणा की एक लड़की से बात की, वो टॉपर थी लड़की, वो बिल्कुल सामान्य परिवार से है, और जिस शहर की वो रहने वाली है उसकी टोटल पॉपुलेशन ही 9,000 है. मतलब एक बहुत छोटे से कस्बे की रहने वाली है. तो जो गरीब परिवार के बच्चे हैं उनके अंदर प्रतिभा है, और वही बच्चे जो है अब आगे आएंगे तो अपने आप को अपने टैलेंट के हिसाब से तोले, अपनी आर्थिक स्थिति के हिसाब से ना तोले. बहुत सारे रास्ते आप लोगों के लिए खुले हुए हैं, उन रास्तों को तलाश करें.
ठीक, धन्यवाद प्रमोद जी. एंड मिस्टर सिन्हा, I would like to have a message, a remark from you for the students.
Yeah, Sudeep, before I go on to that, there's one question which is there on the box, and coming from the online education industry, I thought let me answer that. And this question is by Mr. Tomar, which says, what is the plan to maintain quality of education in the virtual revolution of education? So here, my thing, Mr. Tomar, is that it doesn't really matter whether the education is virtual or face-to-face. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes. Yeah, we can hear you.
So content is what is most important. So a good class can happen online also, and a bad class can also happen face-to-face. So quality of education is not decided by the medium in which the education is being imparted, right? So content is the king. So that's the message over there. But having said, for the students, I think the new thing which is happening is the students need to be adaptable. I'm very happy to see how the faculty members and the professors, etc., and all the teachers, etc., adapted to online so quickly. So students need to be adaptable. Second thing is passion. That is most important, right? And third is that they need to, question everything. And in case if something doesn't work, right, they should ask the question, so what? If they did not get good marks in one exam, so what? There are more exams. This is not the end of their life. So, and that is where you need to do it. You need to be, ask yourself that question that, so what? Give it your best try before saying no. Give it your best shot. So that's what it is. So my humble submission to all the students is, agar aap logon ne kabhi, you have seen a person who is on a mobile, who is jumping across some obstacles, etc. What does he do? He comes there, stops, goes back again, stops, goes back again, stops, and then he takes the jump. Right? So prepare yourself, think about it, and then take the jump. And that is what is most important. Preparation is definitely the key. But success is there. There are jobs. So please don't think that, when you graduate or when you come out, there'll be no job. There'll be more than enough jobs. And of course, I'm reminded of one of the students when Dr. Kalam asked him, what do you want to be? He said, the President of India. And this was a visually impaired student. And today he is running, Boltan Industries himself. So Shrikant Bola, is the person. So anything can be achievable. Only thing is you need to work towards it.
Amazing, amazing input. Wonderful and strong message given by Syed ji, Sinha ji, and Parmod ji also. Thank you very much for joining us from across the country, for taking out your time. This particular panel discussion and conversation turned out to be very interesting. बहुत मजा आया मुझे. Thanks for joining us, everyone. And I would also like to thank my colleague Himangni she joined us as a backup. If अगर कोई technicality fault हो, तो background में है. Himangni, thank you very much. She's our bureau head in Gujarat. Thank you very much, Syed sir, Sinha ji, for joining us, and all the team and the audience who have joined us from Facebook, YouTube. Thank you very much for joining us. We'll also be coming out with a report on this particular conclave. Also, thank you, Deepak. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you.